Hi, it's Sunday, November, what is it, 13th. You may have just seen the video where I was getting stuff done around the house. I had a Friday off, and then I had a nice relaxing Saturday. So today I am getting stuff done. So I'm going to be doing some meal prep, trying to use up some of my garden produce. Some of it's no good and I'll just be composting, but I'm trying to use up some things, trying to clean out my fridge. If you can hear something cooking, I have some ground beef and onions going for some dirty rice stuffed peppers that I'll be making. And just come along with me and do some meal prep and getting ready for the week. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. This basket of tomatoes is, some of them are pretty moldy, like this just, and there's tomatillos in here too. I just let this go way too long. I haven't had time to deal with it. So I'm going to go through this and see what I can do. I think most of this is just compost, honestly. I have this basket of tomatoes from the garden. Some are still green and probably won't ripen. Some are supposed to be green and are ripe, I can tell because they're soft. And some unfortunately rotted and got away from me. So I'm going to deal with this now. Some will go in when I'm cooking today, and some will probably go in the freezer. I have some jalapenos that are pretty sad that I'll chop up and freeze. A few tomatillos. And then this container of tomatoes, some of which I'll cut up right now and some of which I hope will ripen. And then these tomatoes I chopped up, and I will use some of these in the dirty rice to go into the stuffed peppers. And then some will go in the freezer. I have 2 peppers that I got on reduce that I was able to salvage completely. These peppers would have been fine if I chopped them up on Friday, but because I didn't end up getting to them, there was waste. But I do have all this pepper I was able to cut off of other things, and I will use that in meal prep, and my husband will use it for breakfast as well. All right, a lot of this was not able to be salvaged, so we're going to dump it into the compost. That's okay, this will be soil in the springtime. So I use this Zatarain's dirty rice mix to stuff my stuffed peppers, and I'm going to add some garlic, some onions, maybe some garden tomatoes that I have left over, and some ground beef to it, and then I'll show you how I do my stuffed peppers. In my Dutch oven, I'm going to add some olive oil, my onions, and my ground beef. Here is the ground beef and onions going in the background. Okay, so I added the tomatoes into my ground beef and my onion, and I'm going to add 1 box of this dirty rice mix. I thought I was going to use 2 boxes, but I think 1 box will be more than enough. And it says that I need 2.5 cups of water, but I actually have some chicken broth left in the fridge that needs to be used up, so I'm going to use 2.5 cups of chicken broth. Here's the chicken broth that was in the fridge, so I will get some of that used up. All right, I added in the chicken broth. I'll stir this up and bring it to a boil, and then it will simmer for 25 minutes. I like using chicken broth in dishes like this because it adds a lot of nutrients into the dish, whereas water would not add anything to it. So, and it does add some nice flavor too. Here's the little container of diced tomatoes that will go in the freezer. Even if it's just a little bit of something, I do go ahead and freeze it because I can throw this in anything. I can throw this in chili or a pasta dish or jambalaya or anything, and it will add bulk versus it just going to waste. Cut up these jalapenos and put them in this jar in the freezer, and I can add a little to dishes that I want to add some spice to. All right, here are the hot peppers for the freezer. I did get some on my hands accidentally, so hopefully I remember not to touch my eyes. I'm taking a break from cooking to have some zuppa toscana. I also got a white chocolate iced coffee today. Here's a peek at the dirty rice cooking away. So I have a can of tomato sauce and some Italian seasoning. I'm going to put a little bit of the tomato sauce in the bottom of my crock pot, mix it with some Italian seasoning, and then I'll start putting my peppers in. I'm going to put my peppers in it and start heating them up, and then I will fill the peppers up with the dirty rice mix and put a little bit of sauce on top of each pepper. So the peppers are in the crock pot. I'm going to put it on low for a little while just to get them warming up, and I will add the dirty rice mix once it cools a little. I got the dirty rice into the peppers, and I'm going to put a little bit of sauce and a little bit of Italian seasoning. And then when it's just about ready, I'll put some cheese on top to melt. It'll probably cook for 3 hours on high. So I have this pomegranate that I got on Reduce last week. I already ate one and it wasn't quite ripe, so I left the other one, and now it's ripe, but there are some spots that have kind of gone bad. So I'm just picking through, and I'm going to make a fruit salad. These fruit salads out of some fruit that we had laying around. There's apples, pomegranate, and some grapefruit. I might also have some orange to add in and some banana, but for now I'm just going to leave it like this. I also added a little bit of lemon juice just in case the grapefruit juice wasn't enough to stop the apple from turning. So I'm just browning up this hot Italian turkey sausage with some peppers and onions and a little bit of olive oil. Lots of steam. I'll divide it into some plastic bags and freeze it. And then it'll be great for use in sauce or lasagna or, I don't even know, with rice. So just thinking ahead. So I'll have some easy meals on hand. And it was a great deal at $1.99 a package. My husband is putting cheese on top of the stuffed peppers, and we'll just let that melt. The turkey sausage is cooling, and then we'll put it in freezer bags and freeze it for future meals. And I took out some cookie sheets and put foil on it. I'm going to roast some vegetables on this one. And over here I have another cookie sheet. This needs to be used by today. That's part of why it was such a good deal. So I'm going to bake up this chicken with salt and pepper, and at the very end I'm going to use up the rest of this harissa barbecue sauce. Hopefully it's still good. Definitely says best by June, but we'll be fine. It smells fine. My husband kept a little bit of this in the hot Italian chicken sausage in the fridge so he can have with breakfast, and I ended up with 2 packages for the freezer for future meals.